The judge has ruled against Blake Lively, saying her emotional distress claims against Justin Baldoni are officially dead.
Blake Lively faced a major courtroom setback as the judge dismissed her emotional distress claims. What appeared to be a last-minute legal strategy ended up revealing more than it concealed, and not in her favor.
All I know is the end of the line. It's not good for Blake. This was not a win for Blake. This is a win for Justin.
In an unexpected twist, Lively attempted to involve Taylor Swift. But Swift didn't respond. Her silence said everything.
Blake Lively's groveling text, voicemails, and emails that Taylor Swift is ghosting.
Judge Lemon didn't leave room for debate. He made it clear, the emotional distress claims are no longer part of the case. After months of courtroom tension and dramatic moments, the ruling didn't fall on co-defendant Justin Baldoni. It struck directly at the heart of Blake Lively's public image.
Just ruled Blake Lively's emotional distress claims, they're now officially dead. Now,
let's be real. Lively may have expected that a few emotional statements would carry the day. But in court, evidence matters. Her attempt to dismiss the claims without prejudice, which would have let her bring them back later, was officially denied.
She can't come back and change her mind. It's a done deal.
The judge didn't just say no. He backed it up with Rule 15, reinforcing that the law requires transparency. Blake was left with a choice: submit her medical records or step back from the case. She chose to walk away, ending this chapter with her legal position weakened.
He wrote this morning that Baldoni's motion to compel is denied based on plaintiff's representation that the relevant claims will be withdrawn. That's the key here. Lively's request that because the parties have agreed to dismiss the 10th and 11th cause, the court exercise its inherent authority and authority under Rule 15 to dismiss them without prejudice is denied without prejudice to renewal.
Blake Lively's team quickly tried to reframe the legal blow, issuing vague statements suggesting the decision was mutual and didn't impact the broader case. But even Deadline, a typically celebrity-friendly outlet, confirmed the court denied her motion under Rule 15. That's not a small misstep. It's a major legal loss, and no amount of spin can hide it. The judge didn't buy the narrative, and he made that clear.
They're stopping it. Just as Ron said, she can't have her cake and eat it too. Nice try, girl. Nope. If it's dismissed, you don't get to come bring it back. It's not with or without prejudice. I forget. Sorry, I'm not a lawyer.
The court didn't just reject her request. It issued a warning. If Lively doesn't formally drop the emotional distress claims soon, she could be permanently blocked from introducing any future evidence related to them. In short, if she tries to revisit this part of the case down the road, it's already a dead end.
This is a lot of what the case is about. Now, she has other claims, of course, and other things, but this emotional distress is a big part of the damages. So to see her finally reveal this is big. And I've seen defenders of Blake. Well, of course she did this. Why should she have to release her medical information?
And let's be honest, this wasn't just a lawsuit. It looked like Lively was building an entire emotional narrative around the case. But when the court challenges your story publicly, and the spotlight turns critical, what's left isn't credibility. It's damage control.
Court exercise its inherent authority and authority Rule 15 to dismiss them without prejudice is denied without prejudice.
Then there's the long-standing public image Lively built around her friendship with Taylor Swift, including the often-repeated claim that Swift is godmother to her daughter. But timelines tell a different story. James was born in 2014, and Swift didn't meet Blake until the end of 2015.
The twist. Blake Lively did not know Taylor Swift when she had her first daughter, James.
There's even photo evidence. The first public picture of them together is clearly dated. Their connection reportedly began when Lively mentioned Swift's Bad Blood video in a lighthearted way during a brand campaign, which eventually led to a friendship. But godmother claims? That seems more like clever branding than reality.
As I said, 1 year after her baby was born, how could she be the godmother of her first child?
To add to the confusion, actress Amber Tamblyn once publicly claimed she and the other Sisterhood co-stars were godmothers to James. Lively later clarified that they weren't official godmothers, just close friends and spiritual supporters. A heartfelt sentiment, sure, but the narrative kept shifting.
It says here that I'm very excited for her and Ryan and to be an auntie. All of us are godmothers, so we are very happy. Yes, you heard right. Tamblyn alluded to the fact that each member of the Sisterhood group is a godmother, including Alexis Bledel and America Ferrera.
So who is the godmother? At this point, it's unclear. What is clear is that Lively has used her children's milestones as part of her public image strategy, perhaps more for promotion than privacy. And that's raised eyebrows.
They're my dear friends. I would say my baby has a lot of fairy godmothers. When further pressed, Lively said that her sister Robin would be the one to take care of my baby.
Fast forward to today, and things have cooled between Lively and Swift, dramatically. Reports say Lively has tried reaching out through texts, emails, even voicemails, but the silence from Swift's side has been total. No replies, no acknowledgements, just distance.
The juicier one. Now, again, alleged. This is coming in from the Daily Mail, but they've been correct on some of this Taylor Swift story already. It seems Taylor can't come to the phone right now because she's dead. No, because she's just ignoring you, Blake.
Sources claim Lively pleaded for a chance to reconnect, referencing their years of friendship and insisting she never meant to damage their bond. But trying to bring Swift into a legal case may have crossed a line. One insider even described the outreach as pleading, a word that captures just how strained things have become.
In a dramatic new blow for Swift's ex-best friend, her text calls and emails to the singer are going unanswered. An insider has exclusively revealed.
There was a time Blake Lively used Taylor Swift as her ultimate PR accessory, dropping her name in every interview, cashing in on that friendship for relevance. And now, she's being treated like a spam caller. That's not just sad, it's Shakespearean. The irony?
Been reaching out to her with texts, voicemails, and even emails, begging to mend what they once had. Blake isn't giving up on trying to get her friendship with Taylor back on track. Taylor hasn't responded to any of Blake's pleas. She ignored all her groveling excuses.
The same woman who used Taylor's name as a shield is now being ignored like a junk folder email. The silence isn't just loud, it's surgical. And that silence? It's doing more damage to Blake than any public statement ever could. Because the message is loud and clear. Taylor doesn't care.
It's completely irrelevant. You can't claim emotional stress, and she knows this. You don't do that kind of lawsuit unless you're prepared to reveal it all. That's how this works.
Taylor doesn't need to clap back. She's already moved on. And Blake? Still stuck in last year's group chat, typing paragraphs to no one. So let's look at what's left. Her emotional distress claim? Thrown out. The godmother narrative? Debunked. And her once glamorous friendship with the most powerful woman in pop music? Now just a ghost story with no ending and no audience.
Ignored all her groveling excuses. The missives explain there must be some misunderstanding on Taylor's part and that she'd never do anything to harm their 10 years of closeness on personal secrets. Oh, well then why did you try, moron? It's all coming to head. You're getting exposed.
Blake Lively built her image on being relatable, witty, effortlessly cool. But now, she's starting to look like a fame-fueled ex-celebrity who didn't realize the show's been cancelled. The lights are off, the stage is empty, and she's standing alone, talking to herself. Meanwhile, Taylor? She's moved on, with a new circle, a clean conscience, and a front-row seat to the fallout.
For her to try to say, yeah, well, I'm distressed. Well, then they have every right to go check your history, your therapist's history, and say, well, is this something that was happening to you prior? So it's completely relevant, and yes, a big win for Justin.
Blake pulled the oldest move in Hollywood. Spark a scandal, cry emotional trauma, then quietly back out when it's time to show receipts. After dragging Justin Baldoni through months of reputational chaos, how did it end? She quietly dropped her central emotional abuse claim. No speech, no courtroom breakdown, just a silent retreat. Why? Because there was nothing to back it up, not a therapist note, not a diagnosis, not even a vague emoji. Nothing.
Interestingly enough, Justin's team has been quiet. Good on them. I think sometimes it's good to be quiet. Brian doesn't need to respond to everything.
And here's the kicker. Justin didn't need to say a word. The court sided with his legal team, led by Brian Friedman, who walked in like a wrecking ball disguised as a legal brief. Friedman made one thing clear. Blake can't refile. That door? Sealed. Bolted. Burned to the ground. If she thought she could play the long game, drop the claims now, then resurface once the heat dies down, forget it. Meanwhile, her PR team scrambled to reframe it like a mutual decision, some strategic chess move. But it wasn't strategy. It was a panic exit. And the most strategic part? Baldoni's silence. No presses. No leaks. No drama. He just stepped aside while Blake's story collapsed under its own spin. And right when she was tossing around accusations like party confetti, a fan quietly shared a story. How Justin took 7 months to return a signed photo, with an apology note. That's the kind of real, human decency that sticks. While Blake was out here cosplaying as a victim with no follow-through, Justin was just being decent. And that contrast spoke louder than any headline.
Ooh, and good on you, Taylor, for ignoring her. She totally betrayed you. She used you. She exploited you and your fame, and you don't deserve that, man.
And then it happened. The media finally woke up. After months of parroting Blake's victim narrative, someone in Hollywood finally remembered how to fact-check. And when they lined Blake's story up against reality, the cracks showed instantly, like cheap porcelain under pressure. First came Daily Mail, revealing that Taylor Swift had been ghosting Blake's desperate messages, texts, voicemails, emails, all ignored. Then suddenly, People magazine drops an exclusive claiming Blake and Taylor are working on being on good terms. Really? 10 days after Blake's team was accused of threatening Taylor with a subpoena, and we're expected to believe they are back to braiding each other's hair?
Lively shall renew her request by formal motion. For avoidance of doubt, if the claims are not dismissed, the court will preclude Lively from offering any evidence of emotional distress.
The contradictions were so blatant, it felt like watching two completely different movies with the same delusional lead. And while people scrambled to put a glossy filter over the mess, Taylor did something far more powerful. She showed up in public with her actual friends. Paparazzi caught her dining with Selena Gomez and Dakota Johnson in Manhattan. Let's be honest, you don't casually pop into Monkey Bar with Selena unless you want to be seen. This wasn't a girls' night. It was a precision PR hit. And Blake? She wasn't at the dinner. She wasn't in the narrative. She wasn't even at the table. Every time she pushed a headline, Taylor countered it. Not with statements, but with silence and strategic visibility. It was a masterclass in handling betrayal with quiet precision. Blake's brand didn't just wobble. It collapsed. No therapist notes, no consistent timeline, no proof, just spin. And when she dropped that emotional distress claim right before testimony, people started asking the real questions. What was she hiding?
She clarified that she was a huge fan of Swift's music, and then they later met during Swift's 1989 World Tour in Australia, and there's a photo of the two of them together in December 2015.
Even Judge Lemon had enough. He didn't just deny Blake's last-ditch attempt, he warned her, in legal terms, to quit playing games. That's courtroom code for, "We're done here, Miss Gossip Girl." This judge wasn't buying the victim theatrics or the red carpet reputation. He was here for facts, and Blake had none. Legal experts shredded her case. Emotional distress is hard to prove even with medical documentation. Blake walked in like it was a scene from a courtroom drama, except she forgot judges don't care about your Met Gala invite. What she got was a legal smackdown. No refile, no rerun, just a humiliating fall from grace. This wasn't a comeback arc. This was a career implosion wearing Chanel and dripping entitlement. And the worst part? She's still pretending she won. But the truth? The lawsuit's in ruins, and everyone knows it.
Sweet, you can probably quantify a box office based on Taylor just doing something like that. Of course, it's a plus when Taylor Swift promotes your movie like that.
At this point, it's not even a legal story. It's a personality autopsy. Every move Blake made only confirmed what people were starting to suspect. She wasn't the victim. She was the architect of her own downfall. The more she tried to sell her heartbreak to the media, the clearer it became. She wasn't hurt. She was just mad she got caught. So with the judge slamming every legal door shut, Taylor ghosting her like yesterday's news, and the media walking away, Blake did what every panic celebrity does. She launched a brand. Vodka Teas. That's right. In the middle of a PR inferno, Blake decided it was the perfect time to push a product she doesn't even consume. A woman who's publicly said she doesn't drink is now selling it.
Her booze line this week, after focusing on her hair care line, which is bombing, now she's focusing on Betty Booze with 2 vodka iced teas, Mayor Lemonade and Passion Fruit.
Enter Betty Booze. Because apparently, when your courtroom drama tanks, you distract the public with a lemon wedge and a marketing spin. 2 flavors, Maya Lemonade and Passion Fruit Vodka Iced Tea. They hit shelves faster than her credibility hit the floor.
Oh, and now it seems Taylor's dad has come into the chat calling out Blake and revealing that it was actually Blake's lawyers who tried to extort.
And the internet? Oh, they noticed. The reaction wasn't thirst, it was side eyes and sarcasm. TikTok exploded with confusion. Why is a sober actress suddenly pushing booze like she's the Martha Stewart of hangovers? This wasn't brand expansion, it was brand desperation. A panic launch designed to drown out the courtroom noise. One day she's accusing a man of emotional abuse, the next she's posing with pastel cocktail cans like nothing ever happened. Critics didn't hold back, they saw it for what it was, a cheap deflection. The drinks weren't selling. The story wasn't selling. And neither was Blake's long-running image of clever, classy authenticity. The irony? She built her brand on being not like other girls. But when things got messy, she acted like every other celebrity in crisis, selling a product to cover up a scandal. Spoiler alert, vodka and subpoenas don't mix.
Sounds like it's all just, yeah. Well, I've responded. I'm working on it. I'm groveling. I'm doing it. But she needs time before she can respond. That's how I read that. I don't know about you.
And just when you thought it couldn't get worse, Blake's legal team allegedly tried to subpoena Taylor Swift. Yes, she tried to drag the most powerful woman in pop culture into her petty legal circus. And if that wasn't bold enough, insiders say Taylor's dad, Scott Swift, personally stepped in and condemned the move. When dad gets involved, you know you've crossed the line. But Blake didn't stop. She reportedly threatened to leak old private messages between her and Taylor, like some teenage girl waving around dusty screenshots. That's not just desperate. That's manipulative. That's blackmail adjacent. And all for what? A little sympathy? A little PR?
Blake Lively actually baptized her children because to point out a godmother, you have to have a religious ceremony, and the godmother will be in the church papers.
But Taylor did what Taylor always does best. Absolutely nothing. No tweets. No clapbacks. No shade. Just distance. And then she made sure the world saw who did make the cut. Selena Gomez. Dakota Johnson. Women with loyalty, integrity, and receipts. Blake was left on read and left behind. This wasn't about petty drama. It was about values. And Taylor made it crystal clear, Blake no longer had a seat at that table. No sisterhood reboot. No last-minute redemption arc. Just silence. Taylor moved on. Blake wrote herself out of the script.